The initial idea for this shot right here was that I wanted to make it seem as if it was all done in one take, with the monster so impatiently wanting some of that cider that he unrealistically gets there without any hesitation. Very much like a cartoon character, whenever they're longing for something. As somewhat of a comedic way to show how irresistible cider or beer really is. While editing this video together, I noticed that I made a very small mistake in the video, and that was the tin can. While combining two shots together that were filmed at the same angle, I noticed that the tin can slightly nudges towards one side. I must have accidentally knocked it slightly without realising, in between takes. I suppose I could have gone back and just refilmed it, but I didn't want a night's work to go to waste. So I only really had one option left, to try to see if I could fix it by my editing skills. So I use Final Cut Pro to edit my videos on. The software has quite a variation of effects and edits that you can add on to your videos. So I went to its masking selection and cut around the tin can in shot 1, then putting it over the layer of shot 2. Now as you can see, there are a few other layers I've added on. That was because while watching back on the clip, I realised that not only the can moved, but also the background, meaning that there was a little bit of tweaking left to be done. So taking the first shot once again, I spliced it in half and overlaid it above the second shot as well. Now if we continue watching the second shot, you can see a hand that comes out and grabs the tin can. Now I used both masking shots for the final clip, and they both cut away just before the hand touches the can. So then it looks like the can is moving along with his hand for when he picks it up. So now it's all very carefully disguised. It was a little bit of work for something that was only going to last for a few frames on film. So here's the final shot. Now it looks all seamless, like it was all done in one take. And here's the comparison between the two. So don't know if you noticed, but I've just slightly edited my arm there to make it just slightly more darker, so that way it's less obvious that it's just a sleeve and a glove. And also just an extra edit right here where I've just sped up the footage and just added a motion blur just to make the effect much more less obvious and less easier to catch. When it comes to the sound effects, I do sometimes use some of the sound effects on my program, but most of the time I just like to create some of my own original sound effects.
This is the voice recording of the Cider Monster. Let's see how it goes. Right, first off, drink. Oh, lovely. Cider!
Sometimes one recording might not be good enough, so I might do it just several times, just so that way I have a range of audio clips to choose from for the final commercial.
Delicious.
As you can tell from the faces I'm making, I can really get into my role.
Cider!